Hey everyone, welcome to Broncos Breakdown from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. I'm here to bring you the hottest updates on the Denver Broncos, including the latest trade rumors and key news from the Combine. I've been keeping an eye on everything happening here, and trust me, there's a lot to talk about. But before we dive into today's big news, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like this video, and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update on your favorite team. Now, let's jump into it. One of the biggest rumors floating around right now is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested in acquiring Courtland Sutton. According to Steelers beat reporter Jared Bailey, the team has shown strong interest in trading for the Broncos' star wide receiver. At first glance, this rumor isn't totally unbelievable. But here's the thing. I don't think it's very likely to happen. Why would the Broncos trade away their top receiver right after his breakout season? It just doesn't make sense. The Steelers seem to be focused on bringing in either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields as their next quarterback. If Wilson ends up there, then a reunion with Sutton could be interesting since the two already have great chemistry from their time together in Denver. But let's be real, a trade like this isn't very likely. The Broncos are reportedly discussing a possible contract extension for Sutton. While coach Sean Payton has said those talks won't happen this week, it's clear the team values him highly. Of course, the NFL is full of surprises. Remember when everyone thought the Buffalo Bills would never trade Stefon Diggs because he was Josh Allen's go-to guy? Well, that didn't stop him from getting sent to the Houston Texans. So in football, you can never say never. What do you guys think? Will the Broncos keep Sutton, or could a trade actually happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's be clear. This situation isn't the same as what happened with Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen. Allen is a seasoned quarterback, experienced enough to thrive with or without Diggs. In fact, he just won the MVP without him. But Bo Nix? He's still early in his career. Taking away his top target, especially after a 1,000-yard season with 8 touchdowns, doesn't sound like a recipe for success. Now, the Steelers? Sure, I can see them picking up the phone, checking in on Courtland Sutton. Maybe Denver listens out of curiosity? But then, they likely hang up. Sutton isn't untouchable, but let's be honest, he's still a key piece of this offense. He's 29, has 1 year left on his contract, and still plays at a high level. If the Broncos thought they had gotten the last bit of great football out of him, then maybe, just maybe, they'd consider selling high. But does that mean it's likely? Not really. This isn't some shocking franchise-changing trade like Luka Doncic getting moved in the NBA, but at the same time, the Broncos aren't going to make a deal that hurts their young quarterback's development. They need stability. They need playmakers, and Sutton is both. So instead of a trade, the smarter move would be an extension, locking him in for another few years and giving Nix a reliable number 1 target. Of course, some fans might disagree. Some might say, hey, this is the Patriots' way. Better to move on from a player a year too early than a year too late. And sure, at 29 years old, Sutton isn't getting any younger. If Denver isn't planning to extend him, trading him for draft capital could make sense. But why rush? The Broncos could still get a compensatory pick if he leaves in free agency next year. Plus, let's talk about the draft class. This year's wide receiver pool? Not great. Unlike past years where you could find stars in the second round, guys like Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, and even Sutton himself, this year's class doesn't have that same level of talent. Replacing Sutton with a younger, cheaper receiver? That's easier said than done. One of the biggest questions right now is, could the Broncos find a younger, cheaper replacement for Courtland Sutton in this year's draft? Well, here's the reality. This draft class isn't loaded with elite wide receivers in round 2. In past years, we've seen stars like Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, and even Sutton himself come from later rounds. But this time, it's not looking like a strong pool of talent. Now, the Broncos are always active at the NFL Combine. They're not just sitting in their hotel rooms while other teams make moves. They're out there, talking, negotiating, and feeling out potential deals. Fun fact, The Russell Wilson trade actually started here, with George Payton writing down trade terms on a cocktail napkin and sliding it over to the Seahawks. So, could something big happen this time? Maybe, but don't expect a blockbuster move like Deebo Samuel or Cooper Kupp heading to Denver. The Broncos seem pretty comfortable with their receiving group. They have a solid mix of young talent and developing stars. Troy Franklin is heading into year 2, and they're excited about his potential. Marvin Mims really stepped up late last season and is expected to take a bigger role. Devon Vell is still young in his career and could surprise people. Bottom line, Denver isn't desperate to shake things up. They're focused on building from within rather than making flashy trades. But in the NFL, anything can happen. And speaking of surprises, let's talk about some of the biggest takeaways from the Combine, including what we've learned about Travis Hunter and what it could mean for CU fans. All right, let's talk about Travis Hunter. He's not just a cornerback. He's not just a wide receiver. He's both. And that's what makes him one of the most unique prospects we've seen in years. But here's the big question. Where will he play in the NFL? Right now, NFL teams can't agree. The Tennessee Titans, who have the number 1 pick, see him as a cornerback. The Cleveland Browns, picking number 2, believe he's a wide receiver. So, for any Colorado fans, his future is still up in the air. Some teams want him locking down top receivers on defense, while others see him making highlight reel catches on offense. Either way, he's a game changer. But Hunter isn't the only player shaking things up at the NFL Combine. Breaking news, a potential number 1 pick has a major injury. Abdul Carter, a projected top pick, has just been diagnosed with a stress fracture in his foot. This means no drills at the Combine. Avoiding surgery, for now. His draft stock could be in trouble. The Tennessee Titans were rumored to be targeting Carter at number 1 overall, but now they might change course and go after a healthy quarterback like Cam Ward instead. If that happens, everything shifts. Teams like the Browns, Raiders, and even the Patriots might have to rethink their draft strategies. And that's what makes this year's draft so wild. Last year, by March, we already knew. Caleb Williams was going no 1. Jaden Daniels was locked in at number 2. The Patriots were eyeing Drake May. Marvin Harrison Jr. was the obvious number 4 pick. But this year, the draft starts at pick number 1, and nobody has a clue what's going to happen. The Titans have a new GM, a new coach, and no clear plan. One thing's for sure, this is going to be a draft to remember. And if you don't want to miss a second of the action, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and turn on notifications. We've got non-stop Broncos updates, inside stories, and exclusive insights coming your way. Let's dive into more from the Combine. Who's rising, who's falling, and what it all means for the Broncos. On fire.